The psychological impact of domestic violence on children. G'day everyone. Today we're going to delve into a critical yet often overlooked aspect of domestic violence, its profound psychological impact on children. To begin with, domestic violence, also known as intimate partner violence, refers to any pattern of behavior used by one's partner to maintain power or control over another in an intimate relationship. While domestic violence affects individuals of all ages, genders, backgrounds, its impact on children is particularly distressing due to their vulnerability and development at that age. It is critical to recognize and address the psychological effects of domestic violence on children in order to break the cycle of abuse that persists across generations and promotes healthy family dynamics. Prioritizing interventions that address the unique needs of children who have been exposed to violence allows us to offer vital support networks, thus helping lessen the long-term impacts and foster healing within impacted families. Severity and frequency of violence, age and developmental stage of a child, witnessing violence versus being directly abused, support systems and protective factors are all the most vital factors that influence the levels of psychological impact domestic abuse has on a child's mind. The severity and frequency of violence, coupled with the child's age and developmental stage, greatly influences their ability to cope and recover. Moreover, direct abuse connotes violence in a young person from a young age that often correlates to replicating the behavior as they grow older. Additionally, the presence of support systems and protective factors can significantly mitigate the negative effect of exposure to domestic abuse. To deal with this, these intervention methods and support networks can feature in skills around building resilience, therapy, and counseling, as well as contacting professional organizations to help and intervene in these issues. Moreover, it's a big focal point in the modern day society about opening up the conversation with friends and family to further allow us as individuals to have more of a safe space. By prioritizing evidence-based approaches and fostering resilience in affected children, we can mitigate the potential for adverse outcomes and promote their overall well-being through intervention and support. Before diving into its psychological effects, let's first grasp the prevalence of domestic violence. According to a global study, approximately 275 million children worldwide are exposed to violence in the home each year. Research suggests that between 3.3 and 10 million children witness domestic violence annually in the United States alone, thus reiterating how key this issue is, not only in our generation, but for us to understand and prepare for the upcoming generations. Domestic violence encompasses various forms, including physical, emotional, sexual abuse, as well as neglect. Children exposed to such violence may witness these acts directly, indirectly, or even firsthand. Physical abuse is the most common type of domestic violence seen and addressed, as it is a systemic approach seen through generations without understanding its impacts. Physical abuse takes place in our home every day, with 1.1% of the New Zealand population having reported experienced childhood abuse and trauma. Given all of these findings, it's evident that they can lead to a higher risk of mental health disorders and challenges building healthy relationships in the future. Now, let's explore the psychological impact on children. Children exposed to domestic violence often experience a range of emotions, including fear, guilt, shame, and confusion. They may internalize these feelings, leading to low self esteem, a distorted sense of self worth, and more. Furthermore, the consistent exposure to domestic violence can disrupt the child's sense of security and trust, thus hindering their capacity to develop healthy attachments and navigate through social interactions effectively. The cognitive effects of domestic violence on children are also profound. Research indicates that exposure to violence can impair cognitive development, affecting attention, memory, and problem solving skills. Additionally, children may struggle academically, leading to lower academic achievement and school dropout rates. Furthermore, domestic violence cognitive consequences on kids can have a permanent impact on their ability to succeed academically and access to possibilities for socioeconomic growth in the future. Domestic violence can also manifest in various behavioral problems in children. These may include aggression, disobedience, withdrawal, and substance abuse. Furthermore, children exposed to violence may replicate such behavior in their own relationships, perpetuating the cycle of abuse across generations. Domestic abuse can also have behavioral effects on children that go beyond their immediate surroundings. These effects may later in life affect how they interact and relate to classmates, authoritative figures, and romantic partners. Emotional effects are probably the most visible outcomes of domestic violence on children. They may experience symptoms of anxiety, depression, post traumatic stress disorder, and many other mental health disorders. These emotional scars can persist into adulthood, affecting their relationships, work, and overall well being. In addition, a range of symptoms, such as these, are associated commonly with the emotional effects of domestic violence on children due to its severity in influencing the kids at that age. There are several long term consequences on the children. Oh, There are several long term consequences on the children. These can range between unhealthy relationships and perpetuation of violence, mental health issues, increased risk of substance abuse, poor academic performance, and much more. Moreover, these long term consequences on children can significantly impact their overall quality of life, leading to challenges in forming healthy relationships, coping with daily stresses, and achieving their full potential in various life domains. Furthermore, the psychological damage caused by domestic abuse to children can have long term lasting effects on their capacity to pursue rewarding occupations and maintain general well being through their adulthood. It's crucial to recognize that the effects of domestic violence on children can endure into adulthood. Long term consequences may include higher risks of developing chronic health conditions, engaging in criminal behavior, experiencing intimate partner violence in their own relationships in their adulthood. It's crucial to recognize that these effects of domestic violence on children can endure into their adulthood. These long term consequences may include a higher risk of developing chronic health conditions, engaging in criminal behavior, and experiencing intimate partner violence in their own relationships. Despite these challenges, there are protective factors and interventions that can mitigate the impact of domestic violence on children. Supportive relationships with caring adults, access to mental health services, and programs aimed at promoting resilience can all play a significant role in buffering the effects of trauma. In order to lessen the impact of trauma, it is essential to have access to mental health services, supportive connections with loving adults, and these resilience building programs. In conclusion, the psychological impact of domestic violence on children is profound and far reaching. It affects every aspect of their lives, from the cognitive to emotional to developmental to the behavioral patterns and long term outcomes. As academics and advocates, it's imperative that we continue to raise awareness, conduct research, implement interventions to support these vulnerable young individuals and break the cycle of violence. I hope that going forward as a society, we aim to address these issues given our understanding of the consequences and precautionary steps we can take together to create change. Thank you for your attention. I'm open to any discussions and questions on this critical topic. Thank you.